guys, it's the Tutor here. Today I'm bringing you a very special video, something near and dear to my heart. This is going to be going through a little bit one by one the cards that have been showcased so far in Avatar: Last Airbender coming up in the new Magic the Gathering set on November 21st. And I love Avatar: Last Airbender. I grew up with it. I remember watching it weekly on Nickelodeon, and I'm really excited that it's coming to Magic the Gathering. I really am. I'm going to be going through all these cards and kind of giving you a little bit of context to the cards and just going through them briefly, nothing too serious. First, I want to go into Twitter right now. First, shout out to Eric right here with his beautiful artwork on, the gems. I mean, this is like the Van Gogh's artwork, and it just kind of looks really, really cool. But with this new set, we get introduced to a couple new keywords: waterbend, firebend, earthbend, and airbending. So I'm going to be going through these because they are integral to this set. Right here's Appa. We'll go through them in just a little bit. But when this is for airbending specifically, um, when Appa enters airbend any number of other target non-land permanents you control, and that means exile them. And while each one is exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than its mana cost. So that is airbending. And then we have Katara over here with waterbending. While paying a waterbending cost, you can tap your artifacts and creatures to help. Each one pays for 1 colorless. So that's what waterbend is. And then we have earthbend right here. This one's specifically 4, so there could be ones that earthbend 3, earthbend 2. And then target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. And then we have Firebending. Whenever this creature attacks, add X red mana. This mana lasts until end of combat. So that is what those keywords mean, and is important because we're going to be going through these cards right now. Starting off with Ain's Iceberg, it's a 3-cost enchantment flash. When this enchantment enters, exile up to 1 other target non-land permanent until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Waterbend 3, sacrifice this enchantment if you do scry 2. Now this is really cool just because obviously this is Appa here when Kantara and Sokka found him with Appa inside of this iceberg right here 100 years after he's disappeared. So that's really cool. Then right here we have Appa, Steadfast Guardian, which is what we just talked about. And this is him with his armor on when he's going into battle against these firebenders right here, and that's really, really cool. We kind of already talked about him briefly, so I'll just kind of skip over to him and go to Avatar Enthusiast. And we gotta love that guy. You gotta love the foam coming out of his mouth right there. They capture that really, really well, and I love how this, just the artwork, it's really, really neat, honestly. And this is, of course, in Kyoshi, but creature, human, peasant, ally. Whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And then we have Momo right here. Love Momo. Friendly flyer, 1 cost, legendary creature, lemur, bat, ally. Flying, the first non-lemur creature spell with flying you cast during each of your turns costs 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1 until end of turns. That's fun. And you can find these cards just kind of over here. I'll go through these just quickly just so you kind of see what you can get. Hopefully I'm going to be getting some play boosters, the pre-release packs, of course, and the bundle too. I try to get the bundle for each and every single one that comes out. And it looks like there's actually quite a few pre-release packs, so I might have to get one of each. Alright, and right here we have Southern Air Temple. It's a 4-cost legendary enchantment shrine. When Southern Air Temple enters, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of shrines you control. Whenever another shrine you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Of course, this is paying homage to just the air temples. There's, obviously the North Air Temple, Southern Air Temple, so on and so forth. This right here is the borderless for Appa, Momo, and then Ain's Iceberg. They all look really cool. I love the artwork. It kind of reminds me of, like, not watercolor per se, but it just that kind of feel to it. So we'll take a look at these. Whoops. And I did it again. Boop, boop. And of course, right down here we have Ain's Airbending Master. It's a 5-cost legendary creature, human avatar ally. When Ain enters, airbend another target creature. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white ally creature token for each experience counter you have. So of course that's going to be going into token decks. We're going to go to blue right here. This is really fun just because Sokka's Haiku, uh, 5 costs, counter target spell, draw a card, then mill 3 cards, untap target land. Now, if you guys don't know much about haikus, I don't typically, but I did hear on Twitter that this is actually written as a haiku. So, really kind of cool. And obviously, you have that humor going on with Sokka right there, too. Then you have Yue, the Moon Spirit, legendary creature, spirit ally. We know what Yue is from. So the Northern Water Tribe, I believe, super cool that they are paying a homage to her. Flying Vigilance, Water Bend 5. When you can tap, you may cast a non-creature spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. And then right here you have Qatar, and I'm not sure if this is after the story of Avatar: Last Airbender concludes, or if this is like during the war, because she looks a little bit older right here. But legendary creature, human warrior ally. Whenever you cast, oh, that's cool. This little glider right here, and then Sokka's right here is just his avatar state right there, and that's really really cool. But anyways, whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you get an experience counter. Whenever Katara attacks, you may draw a card for each experience counter you have if you do discard a card. So really cool artwork right there, and it's like I said, it's really cool that they're thinking of a lot of characters from Avatar: Last Airbender. Obviously, Yue right there was only in the first season and mentioned only a couple of times in future seasons. But right here we have Black right here, and this is the Rise of Sozin, Sozin's Comet, of course. And this is a saga. You can destroy all creatures, choose a card name, search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and a library for up to 4 cards with that name, and exile them. Then that player shuffles, exile the saga, then return it to the battlefield, transform under your control. And this is Fire Lord Sozin right here, Menace Firebending. Whenever Fire Lord Sozin deals combat damage to a player, you may pay X. When you do, put any number of target creatures cards with total mana value X or less from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So that's really, really cool. And then same thing, but different artwork. And then we have Firelord Ozai, of course, the main antagonist in Avatar: Last Airbender, along with Azula. Legendary creature, human noble. Whenever Firelord Ozai attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, add an amount of red equal to the sacrificed creature's power until end of combat. You don't lose its mana as steps ends, and then you can spend 6 to exile the top card of each opponent's library until end of turn. You may play one of those cards without paying its mana cost. I'm just looking for all the different commander decks you'll have because I already want to make commander decks out of all of them. Let's go to red right here. This is Faded Firepower. You can spend X and 3 red. It's an enchantment with flash. And oh, that is Iroh right there. It took me a while to see who that is and love him. Looks like a beast as always. This enchantment enters with the X fire counters on it. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent or an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus an amount of damage equal to the number of fire counters on this enchantment instead. So that's really powerful. Fire Nation attacks 5 costs, create 2 red soldier creature tokens with firebending 1, and then has flashback of 9. And then redirect lightning here. This is going to be an auto include in basically every single deck. Now, why is that? Let's read it. Add an additional cost to this to cast the spell, pay 5 life or pay 2. Change the target of counter spell or ability with a single target, and that's going to be, like I said, it's must include in probably every single commander deck at least. Right here is Faded Firepower again. Of course, I'll be going through, I think, each color once we kind of get all the spoilers out of the way. But obviously, since these cards are so new, I wanted to talk about these because, like I said, Avatar: Last Airbender was a huge part of my childhood, and I loved it. And this is a cool Redirect Lightning card, and we'll talk about it a little bit more um, as we continue. And then green Cabbage Virgin, we'll get into him in a second, but I love him. We talked about this a little bit, but it's just Earthbending. It's a sorcery lesson. And then the Cabbage Merchant, 3 costs, legendary creature, human citizen. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, create a food token. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, sacrifice a food token. Tap 2 untap foods you control, add 1 mana money card. That's a very powerful card. I mean, people have to be able to play cards, and you're going to be getting so many food tokens, and you can get the food tokens to pay for mana, and so it's a very power creepy card, and it's a very cheap one too at 3 cost. Granted, it is a 2/2, but I am not going to make the my cabbages pronunciation just because my wife and child are sleeping right now. But so now we have the multicolored cards, and Oh, these are just nostalgic right here. Avatar Aang right here, one of each color apart from black. Flying, Firebending 2. Whenever you Waterbend, Earthbend, Firebend, or Airbend, draw a card. Then, if you've done all four this turn, transform Avatar Aang. Then here you have Aang, Master of Elements. Flying, spells you cast cost less to cast. At the beginning of each upkeep, you may transform Aang, Master of Elements. If you do, you gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4 +1/+1 counters on him, and he deals 4 damage to each opponent. I'll be honest, not sure how easy it is going to be able to Firebend, Earthbend, Waterbend, and Airbend, but we'll see how that goes. You have Firelord Zuko here for red, white, and black. Firebending X, where X is Firelord Zuko's power. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, and whenever a permanent you control enters from exile, put +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And then, of course, this is when Zuko just becomes Fire Lord. Aang's right behind him, and everyone's bowing down to him. Today, this war is finally over, so it's really, really cool. And then Guitar the Fearless, green, white, blue, legendary creature, human warrior ally. If a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability is triggered an additional time. Now, as you guys may have noticed, I mean, these are all allies right here, so that's really powerful. I think that'll be in like most decks probably, so long as it's green, white, and blue. Then we have Katara Water Tribe Soap, and it's 2 blue, 1 white, and 2 colorless. Vigilance, when Katara enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. You have Waterbend X. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. X can't be 0, activate only during your turn. I'm getting excited for the next card down below. We'll get to that in a second. There better be a card in this set similar to it. Sokka Bold Boomeranger, and what I'm referring to is his Moon Sword. I really want to see his Moon Sword. That was super cool just to have. Legendary creature, human warrior ally. When Sokka enters, discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. Whenever you cast an artifact or lesson spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sokka, and he's out. He's just a guy with a boomerang. Gotta love him. Then you have Toph, the first metal bender. That is a very sick looking card right there. Got her stance right there. She looks like she's in like one of those blips or maybe that giant drill. I'm not exactly sure, but really cool. Non-token artifacts you control are lands in addition to the other types. At the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2. That's fun. Guitar the Fearless, and then Guitar Water Tribe Soap. Of course, these are. This looks like it's part one Guitar, and then part two. So we'll go through these just where you can get them. But this just makes me just so excited for this set. I'm really pumped. I know I've said that a lot so far, but yeah, it's just so reminiscent of my childhood. And then you have these really cool cards right here: Fire Lord Zuko, and then you have Katara the Fearless, Toph the First Metal Bender, and then Avatar Aang right here. And then this is the extended art for Sokka right there. Then you have the colorless sorcery lesson, Kicker 2. Search your library for a basic land card if this spell is kicked. Instead, search your library for a basic land card and a shrine card. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle. You gain 2 life. Of course, not exactly sure all the shrine cards that are going to be available, but let me just take a look quickly. Because I thought there was yes, the Southern Air Temple. So you have the shrine. So there's going to be like the Water Tribes, Northern Water Tribe, Southern Water Tribe, I'm sure. And those are considered shrines. So that'd be fun. Of course, goes really good with the deck. Then we have the lands here. I mean, this right here is Bossing Say, I believe. This is the Southern Water Tribe, Swamp. I'm not sure where that is in the mountains. Um, Looks like where Avatar Aang fought Ozai, but I could be wrong. And then Forest looks like this is one of the temples. So these will be basically in everything. So I'll just do that. So that's all the cards shown off so far. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching it to this point. If you are, please like, comment, and subscribe. I truly appreciate your support. I'm trying to get to at least 200 subscribers by the end of this year. You guys have been killing it. I just need 20 more to go as of the time of this recording. So let's take a look at what people are saying. And I saved some cards in the bookmark right here. And once again, shout out to Eric right here with his cool artworks for his um, mixes. I mean, this Van Gogh one Sapphire is really cool. Um, and Mike right here says this goes straight into so many CEDH decks. Wow, yeah, it's a very powerful card. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Oops. Happy Godo noises. Oh, absolutely. Um, and it's a lesson. Sadly, this is probably too much damage to justify a 60 card format unless it's against a weird combo deck. Um, Lots of people here giving their feedback and what they think if it's a good card or not. Um, right here, you have Airbender, Waterbending, Earthbending, Firebending, and I've already talked to you about what those cards are. Of course, you got Yip Yip for Appa right here, Momo right here, the Avatar's Companions, Ain's Companions. They're really, really cool and fun. And then SBMTG right here, Genius Design Art. This text is literally a haiku. Super cool that they did that. They didn't have to do that, but really, really cool. Force of Negation and the Great Henge return in Magic the Gathering after last Airbender and the borderless source material cell, not standard legal. And right here, the lands once again, and these are just super cool just to look at. Look at those. Um, and then, of course, we just learned how firebending works today. Um, Curious what CEDH players think about this one. We think it's very powerful. Um, it's not even close, but I mean, just kind of showing you what some of these cards are. Let's take a look at these right here. Find most of the good guy colors need to have the color white in them, but Sokka, same thing for Spider-Man as well. Way the color spell seems kind of crazy for a color, so it's also two-sided. I agree. I think that this Appa's right here, or Ain's Journey, is really, really fun and powerful. And who knows if Shrine cards are going to be limited to this. I'm not sure if they're already made, but of course, you're going to be seeing a bunch of Shrine cards for this set. Um, Go Bucks. Um, so yeah, I mean, let's take a look just at what some people are saying, and let's just take a look at this. Regular and we kind of went through this already, but here's that. And I mean, this artwork's just so cool that they highlight the shadow of them, the outline, kind of like from the opening to a degree. So yeah. So of course, so once we get close to the release, I'll be releasing more of these videos. And once again, I thank you guys so much for like, comment, and subscribing. You guys have a good one. Bye.